Everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Krista here to do the weekly reading for the sign of Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. You can always check out your Moon and Rising sign readings in addition to your Sun sign reading, Cancer, if you want more clarity for the week or if this isn't resonating with you for any reason. So this is for Cancer for the week of September 19th to the 26th. I'm using the medicine cards for your main spread today, and then as always drawing additional message cards from the Wisdom of the Oracle and the Healing with the Angels Oracle. This is a general reading, so whatever is most prominent in your life, I encourage you to take these messages and apply them to, and hopefully you find them helpful and healing. So what does Cancer need to know? All right, so Cancer, we have your cards here. I'm just going to get a little snapshot of what's going on with all four cards together before looking at them individually. So this is the first week in a very, very long time that I'm seeing any issues around slowing down and possibly tripping yourself up. This week, slowing down could be your best friend. It's probably in your best interest to do that. But we're looking at issues also regarding stealth and around camouflage, creating some sort of environment where you're free from something. Maybe you're acting a bit tricky. The other avenue to view this, of course, is to say it could be a very good week to not only be patient with yourself and others, but to find the humor in a situation, especially if you're in the midst of a learning curve here, or if you're starting something new, anywhere where you need to apply patience. This week, Cancer, is where you're going to want to try to find the humor in it. Don't take yourself too seriously here. And definitely be, what's the word when you're just, like full disclosure. You want to create full disclosure for everything that occurs this week. You don't want to, for example, say, yeah, I know that movie, or that's my favorite band, you know, for an example, and then have the person or people you're talking to, you know, start getting into details about it. And now you have to like pretend that you know because you just offered up some sort of non-truth. So you want to be really authentic here. You don't want to work in any sense of stealth or you know, getting in, trying to fit in where you actually don't. At least you don't right now, okay? So maybe this is part of the process this week, is if you're not fitting in or feeling like you're part of something and you're on the precipice of sort of saying stuff that isn't necessarily true, even if it's not a massive lie, right? Like, who cares if you saw an actual movie, but it's going to make you feel a certain way, and that's what's important here. So you just want to be super evident, super obvious, and that includes not fitting in if you don't fit in. And you will probably gain perspective not only from not fitting in, and it will be short term, okay? It's also another way to find elements of relatedness that aren't what other people want from you, or that don't include you fitting into something that isn't even authentic to you. Okay, you want to steer clear from that. So certainly if other people are doing or saying things and you want to feel like you fit in, find another avenue by which you can relate to them. Even if it's one other thing and it's short term right now, this will become more obvious to you. You won't have to be stealthy here or do any hiding or create in any pretend world here. You want to be really honest and authentic here as well. And with the general energy regarding all of the cards here, we're looking at keeping records. So you and others. And like I said, if this is a learning curve or if you're in a learning environment, particularly this week, someone is definitely keeping track, okay? Someone's keeping records, and it's not a judgment call. It has less to do with you as a person and more to do with the obligation to the team or to the environment or to your prospects, okay? Nobody wants to waste any time here, but it's all in fairness. This isn't like a record keeper trying to upset you or trip you up or anything like that. So that is a general overview. Individually, in your current position, this represents you. We have patience. This is you really just keeping calm in the face of fire or in a new learning environment, or even in, I wouldn't say uncomfortable situation, but something that's new to you, that's generally going to be uncomfortable simply because it's new, but to any human being. So that's not unusual. The unusual part about it is that you don't need to be stressed or concerned in any way in this environment because its newness is natural. This is to be expected. So no one's going to hold that over you, least of all you. So you want to have patience with yourself this week and really patience with others. If this is a new environment and there are other people who are, say, really adept or really professional at something, for example, you want to be patient with them as well. I mean, they've been through this too. And if there's any concerns here that you're being treated unfairly in any way, you can always ask for patience this week and you'll more than likely get it, particularly if it comes from a place of full disclosure, okay? Full honesty, full disclosure. Yes, this is true. No, that's not true. You don't want to do any tricky sticky this week. Even though, like I said, it's more about record keeping, it's more about people paying attention so they can do assessments as opposed to, you know, a karmic debt. That's not what's going on. Nothing's karmic here, but honesty is the best policy this week in work, pleasure, play, creative projects, all relationships. There's no reason to be tricky or to create an environment where, like I said, you're trying to fit in somewhere where you clearly aren't really there. And again, not a judgment call. So we're looking at weasel here. We're looking at issues of stealth. I'm only laughing because it becomes, so when we look at sort of weasel and coyote and stuff like that, we're looking at an element of silliness here. There's no high karmic energy. This isn't like the end all. This is going to impact your week in in a way that is going to create a light bulb moment for you. There's going to be an aha situation, or there's going to be, sensations and feelings. This isn't high debt karma. This isn't high magic or anything like that. It's just going to be an element of awareness. And what you're being asked with Weasel is to, like I mentioned, you just want to be fully honest with other people about who you are and where you're from and what you do. And if there's one or two other people, let's say, who are talking about something and it has nothing to do with you and you have no idea what they're talking about, just let them talk about it, okay? You don't have to fit into that. You also don't have to take over, and you don't have to let it impede your esteem in any way, and I don't see that's what's going on here. You just want to be you and fit in the way that you fit in, okay? There's no need to wear a mask or pretend you're someone you're not here. And like I said, this comes from a place of silliness. It probably comes from a place of, listen, any human being who wants to fit in, that's a very human response. Okay, to any particularly new environment or an uncomfortable environment, you want to feel like one of the crowd. But sooner or later, I'm suggesting probably even at the end of that week, you'll find other things that you have in common with them, and the conversations when you all meet following next week will center around that. Okay, because they'll take what you bring to the equation they'll bring that into the conversation, into the relationship. With Coyote being your probable outcome here, here's where we're looking at Trickster being a little bit tricky. This could just be you trying to find the humor in a situation, find the humor in the newness of it, or discomfort somehow, or just being patient. It's actually probably going to work to your benefit to be a little bit you're willing to do what's asked of you as well. I think this is going to create a great deal of likability for you. And you may end up laughing at yourself. Ultimately, there's no harm here at all. No one can claim any harm done by you. If any harm is done, it'll be to you, and it'll be impermanent. Nothing is going to be lasting as an outcome here. You're not going to upset anybody long term. You're not going to upset a situation. Like I said, it could just be you. This is, your own personal way of dealing with something uncomfortable. It's just being a little bit funny, a little bit silly. You might even be putting yourself in a position so other people can laugh at you, or find that you're able to laugh at yourself this week, which is ultimately very healing. And it's generally very likable. People in all walks of life around the world gravitate toward people who can find the humor in situations where you require patience, or where you feel, how do I fit into this? But your authenticity will speak volumes. Authenticity is likable, Cancer. And an ability to laugh at oneself is extremely likable. So if this is what's going on with yourself this week, remember to have patience, find the humor in things, and remember that this is short term. Like, this is just for the week. And try to have fun. Try to have fun with anything that you would formerly consider stressful this week. Try to find the humor in it. Here's Whale, here's Record Keeper, sort of influencing all of the elements here. Here's where I'm reading that, especially if you're in a new environment or new to you environment. This is where there's going to be some assessments being made, and it's part and parcel of the theme or the situation or the job. It's an actual requirement here. But like I said, it's not a personal attack. It's not a personal assessment. It's a qualification assessment here. There's also a wish factor here. I read this similar or as a sister card to the star card in the traditional Rider-Waite. So, your wishes could be coming true here as well. This could be part and parcel of following a larger dream, or, the first of many layers or stages of completing a goal for yourself here. So this could actually be exciting. It could be invigorating here. Ultimately, when patience is at play, you're looking at high vibration energy. Anytime we're looking at record keeper, we're looking at someone or something who's seen and heard it all. So like I said, I don't think you're going to upset someone else here. They're just trying to assess something generally. So we have flexible and exchanging gifts here. Flexible is just, like I said, it's just about being authentically you while maintaining a sense of humor and some patience and this ability to be yourself, okay? Even if you think other people want you to be a certain way, or if you feel under pressure to be a certain way, you can be yourself safely here. And you can handle anything this week, Cancer. So I really do believe that with the patience being the central aspect to your week, I think this is what's going to give you a lot of stability as well. If you feel like you're being drawn too far into one or the other directions here, you're going to be able to stand your ground while being able to maneuver around new concerns or new developments. Or any problems or issues this week, you're going to be able to manage fairly easily. And then with exchanging gifts, the most obvious one here is being in the present, okay? We're looking at being in the here and now is going to be central to your well-being this week in particular. Of course, because you're really paying attention to your relationship with others and to others and how people are perceiving you. So being in the moment, really try to stay centered in the moment with people. And of course, the other way to read that is to suggest that you will be rewarded with something. This is about you getting something positive that you've requested or desired for your output. So there's a fair exchange here. So really nice to see this. Generally speaking, it's just a really easygoing, sort of fun, live in the moment, have some patience with yourself, remember to be yourself. You might find other people are gravitating, the more authentic you are, you might find other people are gravitating more toward what you bring to the table as well. And balance being your final card here. Here we're looking at issues of Libra and influence, of course, balance, the scales, Libra being the 7th house. We're looking at partnerships, relationships, not necessarily romantic, but anything that there are pairs. And of course, holding something in the balance. Something is yours to bring into fruition or to throw away, as it were. And ultimately just keeping, like I said, keeping balance through the week for yourself. Don't trip yourself up. Don't let yourself get tripped up here. Remember that this is short term. Once this learning period or discovery phase is over here and the assessments are complete, you'll be able to move on from this entirely, and then a whole different layer or phase will begin. So this is very short term. I see you successfully managing this and then carrying on into the next phase. So really lovely to see this for you. If you have a second, let me know how it works out for you. I'm genuinely curious. And if you're not already, subscribe to my channel because I upload videos for your sign every single week. So until we meet next time, Cancer, please take good care. Bye for now.